rise and shout. It's time for What's Trending. What's Trending is presented by Tim Daly Ford, part of the Tim Daly Auto Group, serving Utah since 1968. Spring football's here. Practice resumes later today on this Wednesday. Will be the second one. Which position group are you most interested in watching as these spring drills roll out?
You know, obviously I said the kickers at the beginning of the show, but that was obviously a lie. With me, you know, I was intrigued with this question because I would normally say the DBs, right? But for me, it's the running backs, and mostly because of Miles Davis. I know he came on a little bit late in the season, got hurt, right? So we didn't really get to see if he was able to be consistent. But we know that in Miles Davis, he's a home run guy. I kind of think of him like a Reggie Bush type of guy, where he may not be in every single down, but when he does get the ball, when he has the opportunity, his vision, his shiftiness, and his ability to make a read, stick his foot in the ground, and then go, I think he could be a big play guy for BYU. There's also a couple other guys as well. Aiden Robbins, which, you know, I've heard, you know, meets the eye test, right? You know, a couple of former players that I talked to recently that went to practice said that he just looks like a monster.
And he's out. He's sitting out spring. He's got his wrist in a cast from surgery. And then, of course, you got Martin, LJ Martin, who's still in high school. Yep. Four-star kid coming. Those two are going to factor in big time in the fall. The other guys, however, Hinckley Rapati made some noise at the end of the season.
And I'm excited about Hinckley because of how he came on last year. There was times and moments where we were like, man, what's up with the running game, right? We got to get this figured out. And when he came on, he had an explosive game. And I still remember here in the studio, we were scratching our heads. Like, I was like, who was this kid? Where'd he come from? And his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield in the screen game, and then when he's in the open field and has some linemen in front of him, I mean, look out. I mean, he has the ability to be another big play guy as well. And
clearly he wasn't in the Boise State Scout.
Right, exactly,
you know,
exactly.
Fifth string running back and this and that, and hand it off to him, throw him that screen pass. He goes 50-some yards for a touchdown. We're like, whoa.
They were confused, just like we were confused, you know. And so usually when you think about big plays at BYU specifically, what do we think about? Receivers, right? Quarterbacks, receivers. Most recently, our athletic or running quarterbacks are making the big plays as well. But I think this is the first time in a while that BYU has a core group of guys that can get it done, can make those explosive plays, and can be true playmakers.
What about Sol-Jay Maiava-Peters, who played quarterback in the New Mexico Bowl, won the game? We saw him running all over the place. He's been moved to running back.
Yep. So
how much attention should we be paying to Sol-Jay?
I like this move because when I was watching him in the bowl game, I was like, this is a running back playing quarterback. Yeah. I like the game plan, right? Another opportunity to get your opponent off guard. But you saw what he did in his ability to take big hits, shifty as well. And I would say, you know, A-Rod, he likes to do a lot of these trick plays and gadget plays, right? It's another opportunity to put the back in, maybe do a flea flicker or, you know, all the crazy type of gadget plays that we've seen. That's just another opportunity, another weapon that the defense has to plan for. So, again, all these guys that we've mentioned, that we've seen so far to this point, big play guys, and can make a play, you know, when their number is called.
There are a lot of guys who are sitting out from injury, and so fall camp will be really intriguing as they do legitimate position battles. I'm watching the quarterbacks just because that's such an important position, and Keaton Slovis, we saw him work out the other day. We listened to him. Everyone around him is saying the right things. Yep. Aaron Roderick said it looked like he's been here forever. Which is what you want to hear from a new guy coming in, because that means he's got some command of the playbook. Yep. And so I'm watching that just because that is the key heading into the Big 12. All the positions are important, and you need depth everywhere. But to have a quarterback who's got 34 P5 starts under his belt, P5 opponents he's faced under his belt. I just think that's the best thing BYU could ask for going into their first Big 12 season. So I like him. Jake Retzlaff, he's got his tonsils out. He'll be back. He's going to be interesting. He's the junior college transfer. Number one in the country.
He waited until spring ball.
I don't know why, but that's just what happened.
You know, when I can attest, coming from a junior college, you know, you get insurance, you get medical, you know, it's a whole new world.
Start to patch up.
You start to patch up finally.
Ryder Burton, the high school kid, Cade Finnegan, who's healthy, and I think, and Kalani said it yesterday, they are strong at quarterback. They're advanced at quarterback, more so than maybe the other positions on the team. But I just want to watch Slovis hit those receivers and get the grip on the offense, because I really believe he's the key for BYU competing into the middle of the Big 12 in their debut season, and that would put them in a bowl game with the biggest payout that they've ever had in school history. That would be the Cheez-It Bowl.
If we could make it to a bowl game, BYU can make it to a bowl game. I mean, that's kind of the standard, right, for every single year. But if they can do that for the first year going to the Big 12. I mean, it would be like making it to the playoffs to me, right? I would say if BYU made it to a bowl game for the first year in the Big 12, I would identify that as, hey, we made it to the playoffs. We made it to the playoffs. That's what I would say.
23 days until the spring scrimmage on BYU TV. That means there's 23 days for it to stop snowing, warm up, so that they can get out of the indoor practice facility and onto the grass. And I think that that's not going to happen this week. It doesn't look like, with the kind of winter we've had. But to get at the stadium and get out there and start throwing it around will be a big thing. But hey, back in the day, they didn't even have an indoor practice facility, and so you just had to deal with the storms. Yeah. This is giving BYU a chance to get after it.
Yeah, you know, I heard, you know, from some of the older guys, especially, you know, going back on Alumni Day, of how lucky I am, because when they played and practiced, they didn't have it at an indoor facility. So, and I said, you know what, I may be lucky, but I probably wouldn't have came here if we didn't have an indoor.
That would have been the deal breaker.
That would, yeah, that
practice outside.
You know, kid from now. I didn't know how the snow. You know, it snows and then 3 hours later it melts. I didn't know that. Knowing that information, it's not a problem. But a kid from Cali and coming to Utah and seeing the snow. You know, that would turn me off. But I'm blessed. I'm grateful that we have that, and those guys, you know, do now as well. So, you know, we talked about which group is, you know, exciting for us. But now let's move to topic 2 and talk about which team or which group you're more intrigued with.
Intrigued is an interesting word. It goes a number of different directions. I like the notion of so many things about this football team, but the kicking game's a bit of a mystery. And I'm intrigued as to how they replace Jake Oldroyd. Yep. Now, Oldroyd at times was among the best kickers in the country, and as life goes, there were times where he struggled. When he struggled at parts last season, we saw the impact it had on the game. And on the approach to the offense. Yep. So if you get that back to where you got a kicker that you can trust, then you can worry about all the other things. But there's Cash Peterman, Justin Smith, Will Farron. One of those guys is going to be the new Jake Oldroyd. Think about it. Jake Oldroyd won Kalani's first game for him way back in 2016.
With the cleats, right?
With the green cleats. At Arizona. I was down there for that, covering it for BYU TV. It was phenomenal. That was so long ago. And now all of a sudden, we have a new kicker. Right. We saw Justin Smith a little bit during the struggles that Jake had. And now it's time to sign up somebody new and give him the job. And Kalani even mentioned that the other day, saying, I'm curious to see how the kickers are gonna pan out. That is such a big position. And I know how you feel about kickers. And often on game day, I'm persecuted for saying, you know what, the kicking game's going to be big today. But it is, and you notice it when you don't have it.
You're right. It is one of those things where you take for granted, and when you don't have it and it's not there, you do start to notice it. And it reminds me of playing corner. Corners that have quiet games are usually good. They're doing their job, right? And same thing with kickers. If if the spotlight is all on the kickers 24/7, if the kickers are being talked about in the media, that's not a good sign. And you're right. You know, we don't understand how the coaching and the strategy, the philosophy, you know, at each individual drive makes a difference when you know you have a solid kicker or you don't, right? Now, instead of saying, hey, we're in field goal range, let's just manage this drive, we're saying, okay, now we got to score, right? And then I know defensively as well, it sucks the life out of you when you go out, you make a stop, your offense drives and 80 yards, and then you miss a field goal. It's like you turn around and you're like, I want to kill somebody.
Well,
I'm going to shake somebody.
Think
you know
about
what
the
I mean?
Baylor game.
Yeah.
Baylor game, Old Droid runs out to the field. It's like, well, this game's over. It's going to kick a 37-yard field goal, win the game. Misses.
Twice.
Overtime. Here comes a 35-yard field goal. It's like, okay, now the game's over. Misses that.
Yeah.
And the defense ends up having to win the game, holding Baylor on 4th down as they attack the end zone. And those feelings used to never exist. It was like, it was Jake the Make.
Right.
But Jake the Make's a human being, and he was in a bit of a struggle.
Yeah.
When that kicking game is shored up, it's like, all right, we're inside the 40, we got 3 points. Now we can kind of gamble on some plays because we know we're going to come away with some points, as opposed to down at the 5-yard line, it's like, should we go for it?
Right. It's a luxury.
The NFL's dealing with that now too. Now they moved the extra point line back. There are kicks going all over the place this last season to where teams were going, you know what? I think our best chance is to get 3 yards on our own. And get for 2. All right, what are you most intrigued about?
The defense. And, clearly the defense struggled last year.
Is it the physicality of the defense or the mindset of the defense?
The identity. I want to see the identity. So many times throughout, I would say the last couple of years, we've seen the defense go into each week with a new game plan. When I played, we ran a 3-4. Our base defense was 3-4, quarter, half. If anybody asks me what defense I ran, that's what I ran. And based off of our opponent and who we're playing, we would game plan and tweak things here and there that would put us in situations to be successful. But we weren't coming up with a whole new playbook each and every week, right? Just like how these guys were last year and for the last couple of years. And to me, my heart goes out to them, because how can you manipulate your style of play within the playbook, right? Within the scheme. We talked about it earlier in the show. Spring ball is an opportunity for veteran guys to go out and say, you know what? I've been doing this and this well. Let me try to do this a little bit. Let me see if I could do this, or let me take, this plan or this technique from this guy that I see in the NFL and implement it here. You can't do that if you don't have a foundation, right? If you don't know what you're doing each and every week, how can you have that extra opportunity to manipulate and make things your own? And so for me, I want to see what the identity is. Are these guys, running a 3-4, a 4-3, or are these guys, going to be flying around? Something with us in Bronco was always, these guys, it's a physical defense. Yeah. These guys are physical. No matter what, these are grown, physical men, right? These are grown men, and they got kids and wives, and they're going to be physical. That was our identity, and we took pride in that. And at the end of the day, you can always reset when you're going through some struggles, the highs or lows. You can always reset and say, you know what, guys, we're not playing like we know how to play. This isn't us, but this right here, this is us. Let's turn things around and play the smash mouth football. So I'm intrigued to see that, and specifically, is it a 3-4 or is it a 4-3 defense?
All 4 new defensive coaches have been here on BYU Sports Nation. They've all talked about this attitude. A lot of their guys are out. Justin Enna's top 2 linebackers aren't participating in drills because they're recovering from injuries in Max Tooley and Ben Bywater. So it's like, well, what can you get done? Right. And he said, I'm looking for attitude. I'm looking for the mentality of this team is now practicing as a Big 12 team for the first time ever. Not as an independent team. And so the mentality of the 10-game grind that's coming up against 10 P5s back-to-back, starting with Arkansas and then into league play, is massive. So here's where the attitude starts, and then you get into the summer and all that stuff. But you got Isaiah Banya, Michael Daly, Jackson Cravens, Eddie Heckard, all new faces to the defense. Heckard's this All-American corner from Weber State.
Yep.
Banya and Cravens from Boise State up front. And Daly's back from his mission. He's related to David Nixon, so you know he's tough as nails.
Right, yeah.
And so these guys, spring's very important to them because they are adjusting to the newness of playing at BYU.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a fun time. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be exciting. And you know, I missed last practice, but I'm there for the rest of the time. Especially leading up to the alumni game. And specifically, I'm going to try to ask these coaches, maybe ask right now if I could practice with the DBs, because I heard who the quarterbacks, you know, may be. So I need to get in football shape.
You need to get in shape. If the rumors are true, you need to get in shape.
Oh, I know. Everybody just pray for me.